I started my sci-fi garden method so I could grow green beans and any crop. And I was so excited about it. I've had some success, and I thought we had gotten far enough that we'd gotten past failures. But today I have to share that my green beans that got infected with thrips, I believe, are basically dead, and I'm going to have to throw them out and start over again. And I want to share with you what I've learned from that. So my green beans were grown in the SiFi Garden hydroponic method, which means 90% perlite, 10% cocoa cure. And what this mixture avails to us is the ability to use a whole lot less water than hydroponic systems. With each plant being in its own container, the advantage is that if one plant has a problem, you can isolate it or simply kill it off and restart that pot rather than it affecting everything. I've learned through this process, the biological wall, that my green beans actually need nitrogen, and they actually need a grow formula to start with and then a bloom formula later on to help them put out more fruit, rather than be able to grow them on the bloom formula at all times. And even though green beans are known as fixers, they pull nitrogen out of the air and put nitrogen into the ground. So in theory, they should have all the nitrogen they need. In order to do that, you have to have mitochondria, you have to have beneficial bacteria in the soil. And so since we're doing it hydroponically and we're sanitizing our soil each time, we don't have those things. So therefore, we have to use a regular grow formula. And then I've learned the effects of environment. One of the main problems my green beans had was they got too cold. I would open the window to my bedroom to try to cool it down at night, and it would get down to 40, 50 at night, and it would get my room down to 50 degrees. And that was actually too cold for the green beans, and that was actually stressing them. Where my regular herbs or my lettuce are just like 60 degrees, 50 degrees, that's fine. It may be a little chilly, but not anything I can't handle. And I feel good about this. Where lettuce, when you get it up to 75 degrees, it's like, this is way too hot. This is a problem. And a lot of herbs are the same way. And so as I've started to look at my herbs and look at the temperatures that they want, I've found that there's certain herbs that want 70 and above. So growing them indoors year round is really good. They're going to hold up well. And then I've got other herbs and lettuce and other things that want cold weather. And so getting down to 40, 50 at night, they're perfectly fine with. It helps them to regulate when it gets up to 70 during the day, or it spikes maybe to 75 for a couple hours before it cools off at night. And pest management. I've learned that beneficial nematodes, as much as I was hoping that they would solve my thrip problem, they did not. And they did not because the factors that are involved outside, where they're typically used in your outside garden, where you have wind and rain all knocking the thrips into the soil, and then the nematodes would then go after them and kill them off, that doesn't work in my hydroponic system because I don't have the wind and rain to knock those things off. And if I'm going to knock them off, I might as well take them over to the sink and rinse the plants off into the sink, and then they're gone, and we can handle it that way rather than trying to get it into the soil and kill them in the soil. And the other thing that works well is neem oil or neem soap, just because it's something natural rather than a herbicide. I try to keep herbicides off my plants and out of my hydroponics. And I found that neem oil, all you need is just a very little thin film of it. So I was sticking neem oil directly on the leaves and killing leaves with it. And I found out that I need to just stick my finger in the neem oil, because I have raw neem oil, let it kind of drip off, and then just take what's left on my finger and use some regular hand soap to take it off my finger like I would wash it off, and then take that and put it in just a little bit of water. And that little bit of water with the neem oil and the soap is the maximum strength to put on my leaves. And when I put that on the leaves, that seemed to do a good job of killing these thrips that I had on my plants. And I've got thrips on other plants that I'm having to turn upside down because they're leafy plants and I want to eat the leaves, so I don't want to put neem oil on them. I'm going to have to work on getting a pattern of washing the thrips off the leaves until we get them all under control. So all of that to say, I've learned a lot from this experience. I'm very happy that I've learned what I've learned and the insights, but at the same time, I'm really sad that I had to lose my green beans, and I guess we're going to have to start them again because it's still summertime, it's still warm, it's still a good time to grow green beans. So I hope you'll join me for my future episodes. I'm going to have an update on my zucchini. I actually have a zucchini growing. I finally got a female flower. Those of you who did see the first video, I've been getting only male flowers. And I finally got what I believe is a female flower. It's forming what looks like a little zucchini, or at least zucchini type skin on the outside of the stem of the flower. And so I'm hoping that that's going to be my first zucchini. And we'll give you an update on that. And then I'm also going to spend some time and talk about my herbs and my mustard greens, brassicas, because I think a lot of folks may find that mustard greens in the summertime, or if you're in a warmer climate where you don't have air conditioning and you can't keep it cool enough during the summer for lettuce, you may very well be able to grow mustard greens and still have salads, but just change the variety of what you're growing. So you switch from lettuce to mustard. And if mustard green sounds odd to you because the only thing you can think of as mustard is yellow mustard that you buy in the store, or the fancy Dijon mustard, there are a lot of different mustards out there, and their leaves are all edible, and they're just like lettuce. So that's coming soon. Please subscribe